this is Greg Kelly. Donate now to Toys for Tots, which works year-round. Go to toysfortots.org. Toys for Tots supports children in need throughout the year with programs like the Toys for Tots Literacy Program. Established in 2008, it has provided over 63 million books to disadvantaged children. The Toys for Tots Literacy Program is committed to providing disadvantaged children with direct access to books and educational resources that enhance their ability to read and communicate effectively. Go to toysfortots.org.
The Dominic Carter Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Iran, and your turn to sound off on Kristi Noem in a moment on this Friday edition. Dominic Carter here with you. The number is always to reach me right now. And folks, if I spoke to you yesterday, please give someone else a chance. 800-848-9222. So Juliana is listening live from Australia. Hello to you, young lady. And Lisa Bernard, I'm looking at my Twitter, at my ex. Lisa, I got a bone to pick with you. This is the tweet that Lisa Bernard just sent me. Heads up, Dominic. The Bears come out of hibernation this week. Here's my first sighting in Connecticut. And she actually sent me a photo of a live bear. But you're okay for a few more days. They simply roam around, stretching after their long winter naps, scooping and taking a look at the location, snooping around, I should say. And it's going to be interesting. But Lisa, I'm only joking, but I didn't know that the bears are waking up. So now when I'm coming home in the middle of the night, step by step, I've got to be careful, because I've walked up when there were like 3 bears fighting over food in the garbage. And so who knows? 800-848-9222. What an exercise in courage. Have you seen the video? San Francisco's mayor, his security detail attacked. Mom Donnie, I hope you hear this. His security detail attacked and a cop left bleeding. You cannot make this up. Mayor Daniel Lurie, police security team attacked in a drug-plagued neighborhood. And these animals are so bold these days, they attacked the mayor's detail. Now, at first they listened to the mayor. They blocked his vehicle in. But then they start becoming belligerent with the mayor. So the security officer that's with the mayor stepped out, and next thing you know, he's tussling with one of these addicts. And the addict is getting the best of the police officer. And the officer falls back and hits his head on the ground. And guess what the mayor does? The mayor eases out of the picture. He doesn't assist. He eases out of the picture. Wow, an exercise in courage. I told you, folks. I hate to say I told you so, but I told you so as it relates to there was a reason why Team Mamdani kept his wife away from the media during the campaign. And I believe this is just the tip of the iceberg. New York City's first lady, the first lady of the city, liked social media posts supporting the Palestinian quote-unquote resistance after October 7th, the attack. And I can't think of anything more despicable than that. So the mayor's wife, the first lady, liked Instagram posts throwing support behind the Palestinian resistance in the immediate aftermath. So remember, you had, 1,200 people dead in Israel? And the lady that would go on to be the first lady of New York City was liking some of the posts from the people in Palestine. I can't think of anything more despicable. But they say birds of a feather flock together. So if she has these views, do you think the mayor is far off from that? We know that Daddy has these views. The one-time professor at Columbia University. And in another post, New York City's first lady liked about a protest the next day in which the caption read, are you ready for this? From the river to the sea, Palestine will be free. New York City's first lady liking a post like that. 800-848-9222. President Trump indicating he is not playing around when it comes to Iran.
And I'm once again calling on all members of the Iranian Revolutionary Guard, the military and the police to lay down their arms. They're only going to be killed. And now is the time to stand up for the Iranian people and help take back your country. You're going to have a chance after all these years to take back your country. Accept immunity. We'll give you immunity. And we'll be giving you really the right side of history, because that's what it is. So you'll be perfectly safe with total immunity, or you'll face absolutely guaranteed death. And I don't want to see that. They don't want to see it either. We also urge Iranian diplomats around the world to request asylum and to help us.
And so the president can't be any clearer than that. Either you come along in the process and side with America, or you're done. It's as simple as that. And that's the way it should be. That's called leadership on a world stage. It's not Biden stating don't and Kamala don't. What's your message to Iran? Don't. What exactly does that mean? 800-848-9222. Lieutenant General Kellogg says he's never seen this level of engagement before.
Very much. Look, what this really tells me is something that I haven't seen in my generation on the rules of engagement. Is the president is going after everything. It's full, it's full speed ahead. They're taking out targets most of us hadn't thought about. There's a huge target list out there, and there's no restrictions. And the president's right about winning. There's no doubt in my mind that we're destroying every target we want to get to. And Brett just came on a minute ago, and he's probably the drone king of the world out there. And we're just using things that we hadn't used before and going after these targets, like the LUCAS system, which is a drone system that we reverse engineered from the Shahab 136. That's got basically a huge warhead on it that we're sending back to the Iranians. So we took their design, reverse engineered it, and sent it back. And we're going after their deeply buried bunkers. We're going after every target we can find that's out there. This is one of those that I advise the mullahs is you better go back to your mosque, because, there's a game in America called whack-a-mole. We're doing whack-a-mole right now. And it's sort of like everybody sticks their head up and says, I'm in charge. You're gone. You're history. And the Revolutionary Guards is gone too. Their military is gone. Their military, the economic piece is gone. It's just a massive win for the United States.
You were talking.
Absolutely. Let's start with your telephone calls on this Friday. And if you're doing something interesting this weekend, tell me about it. Line 2, Brian in Brooklyn. What's on your mind, Brian?
Hi, I have two questions. Number one is, what do you think is going to happen with the gas in our country here? What do you think is Trump's plan? And the other one is about Kristi Noem.
Well, actually, that's 3 questions, but go ahead.
Okay. Do you think it made sense that she now is still in the administration?
So Brian, I'm going to be real with you. You sound like a Trump hater.
No, I voted for him.
You voted for him. Okay, so what perspective are you coming from?
I think he's doing a good job.
You think he's doing a good job?
The main question is about the gas. What do you think is going to happen with the gas?
Okay, so I got to be straight with you. Do you know how bad we look? I understand dollars and cents, but 6 American soldiers have lost their lives. The country is in a military situation with Iran, and we're concerned about gas prices. Now, if we don't understand that this is going to require some sacrifice, then shame on us. Then shame on us. In fact, I want you to listen to Republican Congressman Mark Alford stating that Americans must understand we must sacrifice.
I think we all know that when you have a kinetic conflict like this, whether you want to call it a war or not, we are putting energy, resources, money into this. It is going to take a little bit of sacrifice on the part of Americans. There is a political component to this. We have the midterms coming up. Yeah. The Democrats have tried to make it about affordability. That will certainly play into that. But I think the average American in my district understands the need that we decapitate this terrorist regime and make sure it never grows ahead again.
And Congress.
Agreed. So it's going to require some sacrifice. So I see some of the calls coming in. You folks, you're aligned with me. Some of the calls coming in right now happen to be about Congresswoman hate. Oh, boo-hoo. Jasmine Crockett lost this week. Bye-bye. There's a woman on Instagram. Her name is Kathy Talk. And I'm going to get back to all the other issues. Many of you want to talk about Kristi Noem and students protesting and so on. But I want you to listen to Kathy Talk's take on Jasmine Crockett.
Little Jazzy Crockett's back to her old ways, crying racism and election tampering, blaming her loss on Republicans, even though it was the Democrat Party who chose the white man as the winner. She needs to take a good look at herself because we're talking about effectiveness in your leadership role. Meanwhile, she spent more time race baiting and grandstanding trying to make headlines. But what does she actually deliver to anyone in her district? All that talk and the reality on the streets is the same. If people believed in your leadership, your values, your character, then the residents in neighboring zip codes, they wouldn't reject you. You were replaced by the Democrat Party, who knows that their constituents in Texas, outside of your district, were not willing to support your antics because you didn't deliver results. Rolling around in the mud with Marjorie Taylor Greene, who is a quitter in her own right, didn't elevate you. Constantly beating the racial drum of all the disparities, black people, when you are an accomplished black woman who went to private school, was able to become an attorney and then a congresswoman while cosplaying as a ghetto queen and the perpetual victim, did not elevate you. That's the lesson here, because leadership is not about the loudest, most ghetto voice. It's about actually delivering results.
I couldn't have said it better. Oh, Jasmine Crockett, you thought you were going to pimp your way with the race card all the way to the United States Senate. I don't think so. You, Marjorie Taylor Greene, AOC, the whole pack. Reality is coming. It is time for a break. 800-848-9222.
Listen to this podcast now on the Red Apple Podcast Network. The Leadership Thread with Dr. Peggy Polonis.
I'm Dr. Peggy Polonis. Join me on each episode where I unravel the story that shaped leaders, tracing the thread that led them where they are today. Because leadership isn't born in adulthood. And thank you once again for joining us on the Leadership Thread, education, ethics, and sustainability.
Download all of Red Apple Media's podcasts right now through your favorite podcast platform. The Dominic Carter Show. Entertaining and informative. On the Red Apple Podcast Network.
So the U.S. is doing a very good job at this point in the conflict of bringing Americans home. We heard yesterday from the Assistant Secretary of State, Dylan Johnson, who said that since February 28th, nearly 20,000 American citizens have safely returned to the United States from the Middle East. And this is largely in part due to the charters that are being coordinated and the ground transportation being coordinated by the Americans. They are not abandoning U.S. citizens in the Middle East. It's quite the opposite. They are specifically contacting them to ensure that each and every American citizen who is trapped in the region can find a way home. And so this will take some time. The airspace is closed over many of these countries, but they're doing what they can to make sure that American citizens have the resources that are available to get them out of harm's way.
And that from Fox News. Let's go to your telephone calls. Line 5, Johnny in the Bronx. Johnny, what's on your mind?
Hey, Dominic, how you doing, buddy? Love your show.
Thank you.
I just
Every morning I wake up, I look out my window and make sure the American flag is flying high. But then sometimes
Wonderful.
I always agree with you. I hear the lady like things on Instagram, which I think social media is a bunch of hogwash, but it is a free country.
Right, I understand it's a free country, but do you really think it's appropriate for, she wasn't the first lady at the time, but for the city, first of all, this is the first campaign I've ever seen where we don't see the wife. So all the alarms were blaring and going off for me because I knew something was wrong with the picture. And this is just the tip of the iceberg. But do you, whether she was a private citizen or not, do you really think it's appropriate for the first lady to be liking tweets that are against Israel and supporting Palestine? Do you think that's cool, Johnny?
No, I don't think he's cool, and I don't think she's cool. But I do believe we live in a free country. And with how old is she? Was young. You got to think of that too. She was young. I mean, their views did not change. They hate me and you. Believe me, I believe that they hate you and I and everybody like us.
Well, Johnny, thank you for the telephone call. Have a wonderful weekend. Let's go to line 1. Victor in Pennsylvania. Victor, what's going on this Friday?
Dominic, I just wanted to tell you, your story that you went out and you had enough wherewithal to go out and get your education. That's pretty amazing what you accomplished. A lot of people in your position wouldn't even attempt that, but good job.
Victor, thank you for the positive words. But you know what bothers me, Victor? I got to be a straight shooter right now. I try not to pay attention to this stuff, but I remember well when I ventured out, leaving high school, determined I'm leaving the projects and I'm never coming back, ever, no matter what happens. And that's not a slight on people that live in the projects across America. But I'll never forget, and this is what happens to kids of color. You're called, if you decide you're going to college and you're going to try and make it, you're called a white boy. I'm talking about when you're 18 years old. You're called an Oreo. You're called everything under the sun because you want to make something of yourself. But if you're the neighborhood drug dealer and you've got 8 girls pregnant at the same time, then you are an absolute hero. And so it's not so much about me. I was programmed. I was raised by 3 women with no male figure in the picture at all. And from when I was a little boy, Victor, they said to me, you're going to be somebody. You're going to college. You're going to college. And I heard it so much that when it was time for me to go to college, it didn't seem like much. And to keep it real with you, Victor, I looked at it this way. Most of my friends were upstate anyway in penitentiaries. And so I said to myself, well, I'll go upstate just like them. But instead of being in this penitentiary doing 5 to 10 to 15, I'll be in college. And so I was programmed for success. And the women that raised me, they deserve all the credit.
The Dominic Carter Show, entertaining and informative on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
An update on Savannah Guthrie's future at NBC's Today Show. Guthrie returned to the set this morning for an off-air reunion with colleagues, thanking them for their support amid the ongoing search for her mother, Nancy. Authorities believe the 84-year-old was abducted from her Tucson home more than a month ago now. A Today Show spokesperson says Savannah will return to the show eventually, but is now focused, understandably, on her family and working to help bring her mother home.
Well, hopefully the Guthrie family will get some closure, one way or the other. And it would be wonderful if Savannah could return to work. I just don't see it, her returning to work. But maybe that'll be part of the healing process for her. I'm looking at my Twitter at my ex, and down under, Jilliana says, hey, Dominic TV. Where's White Castle? Oh boy. I might come up one day. It's early Saturday morning and I am up with the chickens. Have a wonderful weekend. Don't forget to turn the clock forward. Australia turned the clock back in April. Cheers, mate. So do you say that like, is that bye? Cheers, mate? Or what do you say when you meet somebody? Do you say, I'm thinking about the crocodile. What? Not the crocodile. See, everything's a crocodile with me, right? I'm thinking about what's the guy? Crocodile Dundee and the guy that like hugged the alligators. They got killed by an animal. What's his name? It's right off he taught his son to do the same thing. Say it again. Steve Irwin. Man, that dude was out of his mind. Woo! With those alligators. I'm not going to get started with alligators. But so Juliana, are you making fun of me, Juliana, because I fell off the wagon this week and I made it to after the midnight show. It was calling me White Castle. I grew up in the Bronx, maybe 10 blocks away from White Castle on Fordham Road, across from Fordham University, the Murder Burgers, as they are called. And so I went into the store and I tried, but the White Castle frozen burger, it was calling me, and I bought a pack of 4, and I'm not going to answer of whether or not I ate the burgers. I'm not. Inquiring minds want to know. And look at this on line 1. The dean, the food and health dean, Liz in Florida. Liz, what's going on, young lady?
Happy Friday. You know, Judith told me I should take a picture of myself and put it on your refrigerator.
Why? What are you trying to tell me? What are you trying to tell me? Is it that hot? Are you throwing shade, Liz?
No, just, to watch what you're eating. But
a picture of you. Oh, that's a good idea. That's a good idea because then I'll know you're watching me. But I got a bone to pick with you anyway. Why is it Lisa had to tweet me that the bears are out again where they might eat me, and you didn't tell me, Liz? What's up with that?
Well, if you don't have any White Castle food from, in your garbage, they won't, they won't.
They're always in my garbage. Always. They fight over my garbage. I mean, huge bears at 3:00 in the morning.
Well, Rockland County, they have a lot of, just expect it.
So what's on your mind today, young lady?
So happy Friday. And this morning I drove an hour to show one of my properties that I listed. And, they love it. They really want to get it. And she looks at me and we just start talking. She goes, I hope you're not a Trumpster. And I said to myself, oh no, am I going to say, yes, I am, and possibly lose the sale? Or am I going to just say, oh, of course not? And you know what I did? I stood grounded and I said, I think that President Trump is the best president we have ever had, the best leader of our country. And she just looked at me and I was
Liz.
like, no, it's okay. You know what? It's okay. You know what my father always says to me? Que sera, sera, whatever will be. And the husband was telling me how wonderful I am and how before, they heard I was a Trumpster. I'm unlike all the other agents, realtors, and I'm just sweet and kind because I, drove so far and did so many things. And I said to her, you have to look at the big picture. And she starts telling me he's demented in this. And I'm like thinking, where is she getting this information from? Should I start up? And I said, I'm not going to. She knows how I stand. And that's it. So, que sera, sera.
Wow. I wonder what most of us would have done. So, Liz, what do you think I would have done in that situation? Because I don't know.
I'm not sure what anyone would have done. And, this is who I am. I'm not going to change my views for somebody else or lie or say something different. I prefer not to discuss politics because, you can really, it can be very, very influential in a bad way, but we'll see what happens. I will let you know what they decide to do. And I hope
we're proud of you for standing your ground. But you should have warned me about the bears because now I got to worry about these bears. And I don't know. Go ahead, Liz. I don't know.
Just, you know what? Stop putting all the White Castle wrappers in the garbage, and
you're coming back to White Castles. No matter what I say, you're coming back to White Castle.
Right. You know what? They're looking for the junk food. You eat the healthy stuff. They're not going to come and bother you. They'll go somewhere else.
Liz, I hate to tell you, even the bears don't want the healthy food that you're trying to get me to eat. But your heart is in the right place. We want you to have a wonderful weekend, and I'm glad you stood your ground. That's a great thing. That's the positive message of the day.
There you go.
There you go. There you go. There you go. There you go. Go ahead, Liz. Go ahead, Liz. Speak up. Speak up. That's nice, Liz. Thank you for the wonderful call. Thank you, and thank you for playing along. Thank you. As Liz was just singing, I'm thinking about Kamala and what's her LA song? No, my song, and I'm going back to it. Where's Ice Ice Baby before I go to the next call? I want to hear on this Friday, because I started boycotting, as I've told you folks. We did this a year in advance. Started playing Ice Ice Baby, and then every radio station in America, oh, Ice Ice Baby. There it goes. There it goes on this Friday. Turn it up, Carlos.
I don't know. Turn off the lights and I'll glow. To the extreme, I rock a mic like a vandal.
Here's the best part.
Like a candle. Dance. Caress a speaker that booms. I'm killing your brain like a poison baby. When I play a dope
Kamala,
anything less than the best is a
you and Mom Donnie.
You better
cut from the same cloth. I just want, Carlos, I just want the chorus. Where's the chorus? Here you go. Ice Baby on a Friday. Ice Ice Baby. Oh, I love that part. Ice Ice Baby. Send them to Minnesota again. Bring them to New York. They definitely need to go to Chicago. It's interesting. It's interesting, folks, because I was watching for a few minutes. Kind of sad, because I spent a good year and a half of my life every day with the Reverend Jesse Jackson, sun up to sundown. And as I said, when he passed away, I had never ate so much fried chicken in my life. Fried chicken in Arizona, fried chicken in New York, fried chicken in Connecticut, fried chicken in LA, fried chicken in the Midwest, everywhere, every day. And his funeral was today. And I know for a fact, with private conversations with Reverend Jackson, that he does not like Obama. Oh, if I could tell you some of the things, but I can't tell you some of the things. But it was nice to see that Obama showed up to his funeral and spoke just a short time ago. Let's go to Connecticut. Dwayne on line 3. Dwayne, what's on your mind?
Great show today, Dominic, as usual.
Thank you.
And ABC has a great lineup. Anyway, I was thinking about this Kristi Noem. I didn't really know much about her until she came on the scene. But ever since when she shot her puppy dog in the head and killed it, and I don't care if she's riding on a horse, if she's standing in front of a prison with her $20,000 watch, all I see is an image of her as a dog killer.
Well, I'm not going to say, Dwayne, that I agree with that, because I don't. But I received a tweet or an email yesterday that in some parts of the country, that's considered the norm. I don't agree with it, but in some parts of the country, certain farmland that's out away from ASPCA centers, if the dog attacks their wildlife or whatever, not wildlife, their live whatever stock, that homeowners will shoot the dog. I mean, it's not your cup of tea or mine, but you never got over that, huh?
Dog, right?
Say that again?
It away or,
well, yeah, but see, we live in urban areas, so it's easy to say give it away. I'm not defending it. I'm just trying to give you the flip side of the argument. So, I mean, I hear you though. But thank you. Hey, Dwayne, before I let you go, you do anything good this weekend?
I'm doing a lot good, but I wanted to just give a quick thing on Teddy. All he had to do is inaugurate the old Bob Grant rule, once a week phone call, and you'll be completely free of this. You might get a call on Monday, and that's it for the week.
I think Teddy is pouting today. Little Teddy is mad because he can't control me, and he's mad. But Teddy, you're not the first one to try and control me, and it's never worked for anybody else, so good luck with that. Hey, Dwayne, thank you for the great call. Let's go to Eduardo in Tampa, Florida, line 2. Sir, what's on your mind on this Friday?
Yeah, Dominic. So we had some bad numbers today, and I don't think it has to do so much with tariffs like the media wants to make it look out. I think it has to do more with the AI thing. And there's a suggestion out there that people should not leave their job until they get another job. That would help a lot, too.
What my position on numbers, and I understand what came out today, they go up, they go down. I'm still betting on Trump. I think that the stock market has already seen record numbers. He's going to get it back there. I think that things are going to come out just great, with this president. Eduardo, thank you for the, telephone call. Let's go to line 3 in Connecticut again. Let's say hello to Lisa. Lisa, welcome to the Dominic Carter Show.
Hello, Dominic. It's Lisa Bernard, and I'm calling because I don't want you to be worried about the Bears.
So wait. Lisa, you just posted the bear, right? On my Twitter, right?
They're out.
They're out.
They're out.
So
but here's the thing, Dominic.
You probably saved my life, Lisa. You probably saved my life because I've come home from work 3:00 in the morning. I don't know about you, Lisa, but half the time I'm not paying attention, right? And so you're tired, you want to go to bed, and then you look up and there's this big black bear, seriously. And if you try to run, you know you can't outrun the bears. You do know that, right, Lisa?
I know that. I've had bears, 5 of them live about 20 feet from my back window. So I want to share with you that they're out, but all they're going to do this week, Dominic,
Wait, you said it's their house. Wait, Lisa, you said it's their house?
They consider it their property, but basically we're sharing the habitat. And there's a cave, a natural rock cave, and they den in there 20 feet from me. So I've been able to observe them over the years, Dominic, and I can tell you that all they're doing right now, this week or two, is they eat the tree bark because there's really sweet sap in there and very nutritious. And they're easing in. They haven't eaten in 3 months. So, you know, when you wake up in the morning, you don't want your White Castle right away. You want to ease in. So they're not going after their White Castle equivalent.
So Lisa, wait. When do they start having babies? I mean, like, can a mama bear be pregnant when she goes into hibernation or no?
Yes.
She can.
And in fact, well, they actually conceive, but the conception doesn't implant for a few months if she's healthy enough to carry it. They're a little different than us. We conceive and it starts growing right away. They're different. But on January 20th, it's called All Bears Birthday because the black bears give birth, 99% of them, on Lisa, January 20th.
Lisa, can I mess with you for a minute?
Of course, love.
Why a bear got to be black, Lisa? Why it's got to be black? I'm only joking, Lisa. I'm sorry. Hey, Lisa, you're supposed to say because it's black.
Well, not because they're not the grizzlies or brown bears. Yeah, so
I never see a brown bear. It's always black bears at my house because the bears are racist. It's always the black bears at my house, Lisa. Always.
You don't want a grizzly bear at your house. The black bears are very mild-tempered,
They're
lovely,
mild.
really non-aggressive.
Oh,
they really are not that interested in us humans, except for our food. They do. Your caller about 2 calls ago, she nailed it. You got to lay off putting the White Castle wrappers out. They see it like you're setting the table for them.
They see what now?
It's like you're setting the table for them. When we put our food scraps out in a bin, we call it a garbage can, but they're like, oh, that's nice. It's a plate. We'll open it up. We'll have a little nosh. They dig it. So that's how so I think she was right. Don't put your food scraps right there in your bin, in your garbage can. And they won't be as interested in your house anymore. And
they're always interested in my house.
Here's what you can do. I know you
just
need
make
some
it quick, though,
here.
Lisa. I'm late for a break. Go ahead.
You bet. Yeah, put a little bleach at the bottom.
I've done that. It doesn't work. They're like, how you like me now? They go right around it and get the food. Lisa, I got to take a break. Thank you for the lovely call. Folks, we are coming right back.
The Dominic Carter Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
And the Tunnel to Towers Foundation, final thoughts of the day. Folks, remember what I always say about smart politicians. They're playing a game of chess, 3, 4, 5 moves ahead of everyone else. I note with great interest that it was Senator Kennedy of Louisiana that was pressing Kristi Noem on the $220 million that was spent on these ICE ads that featured herself. Was it wise to have herself that widely displayed in those ads? Absolutely not. But I was actually hoping for her, hoping against hope. But her days were numbered for quite some time. And but again, I note with interest, it wasn't a Democrat that was asking her about these contracts. It was a Republican. And Senator Kennedy acknowledged that after the hearing, he spoke to President Trump on the phone hours later. Very interesting. Let's go to Elizabeth in Sparta, New Jersey. Line 3, Elizabeth, what's going on?
Dominic Carter, I love you to pieces.
I love you too. Thank you, Elizabeth.
And I heard you interview your wife, and she's a lovely lady too. But I wanted to warn you about bears. I had one trying to get into my car one time, and I had no food in it.
They're very smart.
Well, yeah, but the thing is, they don't like ammonia. If you have a lot of ammonia around, and you don't mix the ammonia and bleach, but if you have bleach, they don't like bleach. They don't like
and I mixed it. I did what you just said not to do. I mixed it because it's hard for me to remember. I mixed the ammonia with the bleach, and they were like laughing at me.
Oh, but don't do that because it could poison you. That's what they did to make those gases in World War I, and a lot of people died. And then big dogs. The bears don't like big dogs. They don't like bright lights. So we have neighbors that keep the lights on all the time, and the bears stay out of their yard, and they don't like noise.
So if one's right up on me, I should just yell, and that's going to save me from being attacked?
You don't run either because they think that's the instinct for predators to attack them, their food for prey. So you don't run, but you're supposed to act real big. Now, I used to do quite a lot of walks until the bears went really severe over here. We're having bears that just don't have 1 or 2 cubs every other year. They're having 4 cubs a year now. And one of my friends is Museum of New York City, the Museum of Natural whatever in New York City. They have this magazine, and what they said is so many seniors now are taking all these drinks of herbs and stuff to keep sexually active longer. It's getting into our water supply, so the bears now are more fertile than they ever because the
Wait, you're telling me about Viagra for bears now, Elizabeth? Is that what you're telling me? Is that how we're going to end the show?
Well, when our urine is going into the water supply, right? And then the plants, the plants pick up this water when they drink it, and then the bears eat the plants. And so they're fertile myrtle now.
What a way to end the show. Elizabeth in Sparta, New Jersey, thank you for the wonderful call. Folks, I wanted to get in one more call, but unfortunately we just don't have time. I'm back Sunday night, 11 p.m. to 1 a.m. Never forget, that's the commitment America made on 9/11. You can honor it by donating $11 a month to Tunnel to Towers and amplify your impact with a car or land donation. Go to T2T.org. T2T.org. Have a great weekend. See you Sunday night.
Thanks for listening to The Dominic Carter Show. You can hear The Dominic Carter Show weekdays at 3 p.m. and Monday through Thursday at midnight and Sunday starting at 11 p.m. on 77 WABC. If you like the podcast, share it with your friends and listen anytime at WABCRadio.com and download the WABC Radio app. Hit that subscribe button on all major podcast platforms. Plus, follow WABC on social on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X. See you next time for a new episode so you never have to wonder.
What the heck is going on here?
Rural Americans deserve access to the best of what our nation has to offer, especially health care. Across every state and every community, America's rural hospitals are the first line of defense, protecting our families, neighbors, and loved ones. No matter where you live, hospital care doesn't clock out. They're there 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Each year, America's over 5,000 hospitals care for millions of patients, providing 24/7 emergency care, delivering babies, cancer treatments, and other life-saving care that patients rely on. Behind every one of those patients are doctors, nurses, and caregivers working tirelessly to keep people healthy and safe. Hospitals are our community's lifelines. They employ our neighbors and keep our families healthy. But now, some in Congress are threatening access to care. Tell Congress, protect patient care to keep America strong. Don't cut rural health care.